Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Anna, and today I have a poetry book haul for you guys. I'm really excited about this one because I tried to pick poetry books that were sort of October/Halloween themed, and I don't have a lot of them, but the ones I did pick I'm really interested in reading, and I hope you guys are interested to read them as well. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first book that I have for you guys today is a book that I've been trying to get my hands on for a very long time, and finally, thanks to the help of Target, managed to do so, and that is Wild Embers by Nakita Gill. I know about Nakita Gill through the internet. I'm an avid Pinterester, if that's a word, and I love all of the things that I've seen from her on Pinterest and Instagram and just randomly across the internet. And so I knew that when I did finally buy a book by her, I would be very excited to read it, and that is definitely not an understatement. I really do appreciate her artistry and just how well she can delve into how humans feel and think and respond, and how they change, and how things should be and how they aren't now. Just everything that she does and how she expresses it, I really do appreciate. And so I know that in reading this book, I will be wiser for it, if that makes sense. I really am hoping to review this book for you guys. If you've read anything by Nakita Gill, please feel free to leave it in the comments so that we can talk about it, and just look forward to hearing more about this book in the future. The next book I have for you guys is also by Nakita Gill, one that I could not pass up just because the cover is so gorgeous, and that is Bierce Fairytales, Poems and Stories That Will Stir Your Soul. So I'm really interested in fairy tale retellings, and so I really do feel like this is going to be one that's going to tell fairy tales in a different light. And so yeah, I'm really interested and excited to read this and tell you guys about it, and we'll see what the book brings. The next book that I have for you guys is definitely one that can't be left out of a video about books and poetry that have to do with October and Halloween. This author is a classic. He's one of the pioneers of the horror genre, and also, as I found out, science fiction. He's also the first well-known American writer to try and make a living off of writing on its own, and it didn't really work out for him, as I'm sure a lot of us know. Well, it's not easy making a living as a writer, yet when you do, it is definitely worth it. So anyways, the book is Completed Works of Edgar Allan Poe, and so I definitely couldn't leave this out. I do remember the first time that I read A Telltale Heart, and just sort of how freaked out and creeped out I was by it, and that was a very long time ago. And so now I think I have a greater appreciation for his work, and also just a more well-rounded view of the horror genre. So I've sort of tried to branch out and not be as scared of it as I used to be, and I do find that there's a lot of themes in the horror genre that are, I guess, expanded on more than maybe any other genre. Obviously the theme of fear, but also just the ideas of how information is discovered in stories, and how like the difference in when information is shared can alter the course of a story and make it either more scary or less scary. And I do think that's like really interesting. So I'm looking forward to reading this book. I probably won't get through all of it because, as you can see, it's rather thick, but I do want to get to the highlights and the main points and let you guys know what I thought of it. The next book I have for you guys is not one that has to do a lot with Halloween or October or even fall, but definitely one that I want to include because this is going to be the next book that I review, and that book is Helium by Rudy Francisco. I can't tell you how long I wanted to get my hands on this book, and then when I finally did and I read it, as I'm sure you can see, a lot of writing and dog-eared pages, because I truly loved it. I think it's probably gonna go on my list of like favorite poetry books ever, because I don't know how to explain it. It's just, there's something so magical about how Rudy expresses like the concepts of love and loss and fear and race and sexism and all of those really heavy topics that everyone thinks about and everyone goes through and everyone experiences, and yet he manages to express it in a way that I've never heard before. And I think that's really special, because a lot of times in poetry, when people talk about love especially, you can read a million poems about love and they may say it differently, but it all kind of feels the same after a while. And yet when I read this book, I did feel like, wow, I've never thought about these things quite in that way. And that to me is really special, that someone can take that and I guess just be different with it. The last book I have for you guys is not one that I have a physical copy of right now. It is titled A Different Kind of Drunk, written by Aaron Irvin. It is 21 poems on life with anxiety, and I added this book because I feel like it's important to address the issues that are scary and hard to talk about on a daily basis. Anxiety, depression, mental illnesses, all of these issues are things that people struggle with every single day, and it's truly terrifying. Not only for them, but for the people who are trying to help them get better, for the people who may not understand just what it's like to go through things like that, for the professionals that are helping them, for everyone involved. It's a very scary thing to have to do, and it's scarier if you try to go at it alone. A lot of the things that Halloween or October focuses on is fear, and it's sort of an artificial fear. It's synthetic fear, and where you go to a place to scare yourself. But for a lot of people, they don't have to go anywhere. They are terrified of what's going on in their mind, and I think that's something that has to be addressed and talked about more, just so that those people can get the help that they need. It's very important not to jump to conclusions when thinking about people who have depression or go through anxiety. It's not something to be passed over or taken lightly. And so I did want to include this book for the reason that it's one thing to be scared or to scare yourself, but when you are dealing with a illness that scares you and it's not something that you can see that's happening in your body, it's just something that's purely in your mind, you shouldn't have to go through it alone. And so I think finding ways of talking about it, facilitating conversation, raising awareness of issues that people have, it's important. And so I hope that as I read this book, I will more understand from this person's point of view, from Aaron's point of view, the struggles of anxiety, and also just have a more well-rounded knowledge of the inside of a person's mind when they go through things like that, in order for me to hopefully in the future help people who have those problems, or just be able to be there for a friend should they have those issues. So yeah, I'm really happy that you guys are watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Before you go, don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I'll leave all of that in the description below, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye!